Good morning. WEMU has partnered with United Way of Washtenaw County to explore the people, organizations, and institutions that are creating opportunity and equity in our area. And as part of this ongoing series, you've heard from people benefiting and growing from the investments being made in our area. But today, we're turning the tables and talking to David Fair, the host of Washtenaw United. Good morning, David.
Thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this. I'm not used to being on this side of the questions.
So much of the time, when you talk to the guests that we bring in as part of Washtenaw United, you hear incredible stories of impact in our community. And I was wondering, are there any stories that have stuck out in your mind and have really made an impact for you personally?
There are too many to list in their entirety, but I can tell you, hearing the stories of those volunteering to go help feed the elderly in Saline, making sure that there is access to food, having people from the West Willow neighborhood come in here and explain the new neighborhood association there and how they are trying to bridge divides not only in the neighborhood but in the community at large, having learned about the impacts of racial inequities in education and talking about white privilege, hearing from the superintendent of schools telling the story of his privileges and how it's benefited his career, and now having to deal with inequities between races, between genders, and trying to accommodate that in a public education system and its bureaucracy. I have to tell you, all of those things have impacted me personally, and based on the response we're getting, it's making an impact in the way people are thinking about it in our listenership.
I agree. This partnership has been one for the ages as far as not only sharing the great stories that are happening. Can you tell me a little bit about how it might have changed your perception of our community, or do you think that good things are happening, and how do we share those stories?
There's a couple of ways to think about that. With all of the dire news, or seemingly dire news, that comes out of Washington, D.C. and from around the world, it is easy to lose a sense of balance and forget that so much good is going on in our community, and there are so many good people working on these issues and making progress. It is an awesome responsibility, but an awesome privilege to be able to tell people we're going to have a long way to go, but let's focus on where we are making progress, where we're lacking, and how we're going to collaborate and work together to advance forward. And I got to tell you, the response is tremendous, both out in the community and how we're getting response from listeners.
That's great. What impact has Washtenaw United as a series had on your station?
It has reminded us that we have a responsibility to all. One of the things when we talk about inequity is access to opportunity. But there has been a lack of access to giving voice to people of color, to minorities, and to genders when it comes to media. Being able to have those conversations, no matter how difficult, no matter how awkward, and being able to provide access, that is huge for the radio station and huge in our standing as we move forward and try and create relationships in the community. On a personal basis, it's changed a lot because it pointed out to me how much I was lying to myself. I call it the great white lie, David's great white lie. Fact of the matter is, I thought things were better than they were. I thought that we were much further along in bridging the racial divides, the gender divides. And fact of the matter is, it's the lie that I told myself because it made me feel better. And when I hear the stories and the inequities and the work that needs to be done, it just makes me that much more dedicated to tell the truth to myself and then be able to use that experience to tell the truth to the community.
And I think so often that truth is the power behind radio. So thank you so much for being such an active participant in our community and really helping us at United Way make a change. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you, David, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. It is truly my honor and privilege.